just give us maybe a little background on Texas First.
Yeah, so we just celebrated 50 years last year, so that was a lot of fun for us. We are $2 billion in assets, 27 locations. So it's we're widespread from Beaumont down to Galveston up to Conroe Woodlands. So all of that area, but primarily we sort of grew up in the coastal area, just Galveston, Texas City, so that area. That's Chuck. We had a naming contest.
You did?
For Chuck, and Chuck is actually Charles Doyle, who was the founder of Texas First Bank, and so he goes by Chuck, and so that's Chuck, and that is part of our an anonymous chat through Agent IQ.
Yeah, we'll talk about Chuck in just a minute, but it is, I think you also get the award for the most creative icon
With the
for a
hat.
chatbot.
Yeah, I like the hat.
That's right. But yeah, it's great that, you flew in just an hour and a half ago.
Did.
Appreciate that. It was making me sweat a little bit, but you made it perfectly on time. We actually did a webinar just a couple of weeks ago as well together, so appreciate you sharing your story. We always kind of start out by talking, what problem were you looking to solve, right? That's kind of a classic case study type thing is what were you looking to solve? And I think you have a kind of a unique answer to this.
I do. So when they first asked me that question, my answer was, I didn't know that we had a problem. I wasn't looking to solve a problem necessarily. I wanted to provide a way for our customers to communicate with us that was different than either coming into the bank or talking to us on the phone, because not everyone likes to do that. So many of our new customers that we're trying to attract, they want to talk with their thumbs. So how do we do that? So in launching Agent IQ, we found that, now we have this other way for our customers to talk to us. Those that don't want to talk have to talk on the phone to someone. They want to get on their phones, they want to text, whatever they want to do, and they can do that with us now. We can video chat, we can co-browse, we can do all the things, and that it's not that I knew that we had a problem necessarily, but that solved a problem that we didn't know that we had. So yeah.
I think before I got up on the Tech Talk earlier, Jack Henry was up on stage with Michelle, and I was in the back room, so I didn't hear exactly, but I think there was a comment of, I don't know if it was his son or something like that, saying, and he said, just call. I remember it. He said, we don't do that, right? And these channels of legacy that we used to have, either coming into a branch or phoning in, is just not what the newer generation is necessarily looking to do. They want to be able to message, do more digital outreach. What was interesting, though, in some of our research that I was doing before this, is we did kind of a analysis of our clientele who use messaging across the platform, all our different clients. And what do you think is kind of the average age of people who are actually messaging and using the digital channels? Meaning using our service, the Agent IQ service, interacting with a chatbot, messaging. What do you think average ages are?
I'm willing to bet that they're probably in their late 40s, right?
Very good. It was about 43. And I think that was interesting in the fact that it wasn't necessarily the 23s,
yeah.
Right? This is these are the generations that are still, we would think that they would call in or come into the branch, but no, they're certainly, and COVID certainly did some justice in terms of people getting used to that, forced us as companies to create those channels. So why don't we talk a little bit about actually what did you roll out?
So we started with the anonymous piece of this. So what we wanted, we had a kind of a bomb guard type thing. If you went to our website, if someone was there, you could click on somebody's name and you could talk to, usually it was an IT person. It wasn't a great conversation always, and there wasn't always someone there. So what we wanted is, we wanted the chatbot to be available on our website, and we wanted our customers to be able to take care of those regular questions that they need answers to all the time. Like, what's our routing number? So through the anonymous chat, Chuck is there, and we have the little icon down at the bottom. You click on the icon, and you have a menu to choose from to be able to find all of your answers. But if they're not there, then you can click on an option that says chat with the banker, and the anonymous piece of this goes to our call center. We have a very small call center. There's only 3 people, but they man the anonymous piece of this. And anonymous just means that we don't know who these customers are.
This is your customer-facing website,
Correct,
right?
correct.
And they
They're
haven't
just-
necessarily established
Yes.
an account or anything like that?
Correct.
Yeah.
They might be customers, they may not be. So we wanted to funnel those questions through our call center team so that we knew that they were trained to answer anonymous questions and weren't going to give out any information that they shouldn't until those people were authenticated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Chuck is there as kind of that AI self-service, customer-facing
Yes.
self-service. How did you kind of establish what questions you want Chuck to be able to answer?
So that was a little bit of the putting it all together process and part of the project. We sat down and Agent IQ sat with us and said, here's the questions, these are some of the things that we recommend that you have, and we just filled in the blanks and filled in the bubbles and added links, and you can click on this and you can go to our website, you can click on this and you can go here. And then through that, we also maybe rearranged some things. We launched this in September. We still have weekly calls with them because we want to have weekly calls, not because we have to, but we tweak during those weekly calls, and it's so great because we're able to find ways to make this process better than what it was when we first started. So that part of it has been wonderful because the questions are geared to Texas First Bank. They're not just generic questions.
Yeah, and it's fun. We're able to actually look at what path people are taking
Yes.
when they're coming in there. Where are they stalling?
Yes.
Where are they actually resolving their query? And then we can even take input from your call center. Like
Yes.
when people actually do call in, what are those questions?
Right.
That's a great
Right.
seeder in terms of looking at that.
Right, exactly. So after that, we launched the authenticated chat. So our customers, we're a Q2 bank, so our customers log in through online banking, and because they have logged in, they're now authenticated. So on that screen, our bankers can see the information about our customer. They can see their account numbers, they can see the IP address, they can see the different kinds of accounts that they have, their email address, their phone number, their name, all of that is there. So once we know that the customer has logged in, we're a little more comfortable in answering some different questions. Inside the authenticated, there is not a self-service option. So if a customer logs in and they want to chat with us, which is the option that they have in the menu, then they're going to go through a carousel. They'll choose a banker to talk to. That part of it, I'm sure we'll get to that, so I won't mess that up. But it's one of my favorite pieces. But once they choose a banker, then they can just start chatting with the banker. And one of the things that I think is probably the most beneficial with this product for us is that all of my agents, and I have 54 agents now who are able to log in at any given point, all of them can speak multiple languages. Literally every single one of my agents can speak over 100 languages because of the Google Translate that's in here. So it doesn't matter if they're speaking German or Italian or Spanish or whatever they're speaking, whatever they're comfortable talking to us in whatever language, they can type, it comes to us, we can hit a button to translate it, type back, translate it back, and send it back. That part, for me, was invaluable because I had tried to launch a Spanish hotline internally, just so we have some bilingual employees who could help customers who were walking into the bank, and we didn't have a bilingual employee at that particular banking center. But this was completely different, and this helped us bank-wide be able to talk to customers in whatever language they were comfortable in. So that was the part that I loved. We did the video chat, the co-browsing a little later, but we have launched it. I had a co-browsing session with a customer, one of my own, and he was having trouble doing a mobile deposit. And through, I wasn't understanding why he was having trouble until I did the co-browsing session, and I realized he was on his laptop. So I just explained to him that, well, I need you to be on your phone and log in through the mobile app, not through the website on your laptop, and then you will be able to make your mobile deposit. I may not have known that had I not been able to log in, see where he was in his problem, and solve it for him, because I can show him. I can poke around and I can have a little pointer and I can say, go right here and do this and do that. It was great.
Now this is interesting, so you're actually using it, you're talking to the customers too. That's great, so what sort of, so that's a great story there in terms of,
Yeah.
You're seeing frontline what your customers, the challenges that they're having. I'm trying to deposit a check and I'm probably trying to put it in the webcam camera here, right, and it's not going so well, so you're able to kind of solve that issue right then and there, make that customer happier, and that was efficient.
And that's what Matt and I were talking about just earlier before we even started this. As a leader in the organization, I want to see it, right? I don't want to just assume. So I go in there, and at least weekly, I'm going in and I'm looking at conversations. I'm looking at how many primary customers our bankers have. I use it as a way to coach and commend them. Ranking them, like this person has 150 primary customers, way to go, Kiara. But being in there, I can also say, hey Sally, maybe you could change up that answer a little bit and say this. Making sure that we're being consistent in how we end conversations, how we greet customers, looking at their, what are the
tags?
The tags, yes. What are our customers talking about? Because if there's a problem, and I have a whole bunch of customers talking about X, Y, and Z, maybe I have an issue and maybe I need to address it. Or maybe there's a product that we need to do more marketing around because we have something that solves that, but you don't know about it.
Yeah.
So.
And that's an insight that's really difficult to get from a call center or anything, to try to aggregate that information. You're asking a call center person to write down what was that conversation about, and they may have heard one thing, it really may have been a pain about something else.
Yes.
So the platform's able to kind of tag these conversations. You're able to go in there as a leader and then look at what thematically customers are talking about. And as you said, you're finding, oh my gosh, they're talking a lot about X, and we have that. Why are they asking about that? Right? And so then you can actually look at different angles to address that.
Yeah, or, oh, hey, our customers can't do that. Maybe we need to find some way for them to be able to do that.
That's right.
But yeah, it's that part of it, just going in and diving into the data, because there's so much of it. But looking at the conversations and looking at what our bankers are saying to our customers, what are our customers asking about, but also being able to go back into a conversation and look at the history of that conversation with that customer. Our call center cannot do that because we don't have a phone system that allows them to track a conversation. So I can go back in and I can look and I can scroll up and say, oh, okay, originally this customer was asking about this, and it looks like, maybe they got an answer, maybe they didn't. I can just call the customer if I want, or I can take a screenshot, send it to that banking center and say, hey guys, you guys need to reach out to this customer and figure out how to help them and figure out how to solve their problem. Or I can also, on the flip side of that, say, this was amazing, great job, look at the response that you got from the customer. So, yeah.
I love this quote. You mentioned, you said this in the webinar, but meeting the customer where their problem was,
Yes.
right? I mean, I think that's key, and kind of to your point there of the example of the mobile deposit, you were able to see that they had a problem. They're on their laptop. You're like, okay, I got that now.
Yeah.
Over the phone that could have been difficult. Anything else? So meeting them there is real key. Now, you also said you're starting to find out by looking at the information of, what are customers talking about. You have the ability to actually outreach out to these customers,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So, and I'll use, I don't know, a recent storm. And this is just something, because we're a community bank, right? So we like reaching out to our customers. If I'm one of my bankers and I have 150 primary customers in my list, and we just had a storm, I could send a message to all of those 150 customers all at once. They don't know that I've sent it to all 150, but I could say, how are you? Is everything okay? There was a really bad storm. Is there anything we can do for you? How can we help you? Those kinds of things. And the next time they log into online banking, they're gonna see that message. So that part of it allows us to do outreach differently than what we do today, just by having to physically call customers. And maybe you miss one, maybe you don't get all of them, maybe you're only calling the ones that you know off the top of your head. But in here, there's a whole list, and we can reach out to them all at once. We could say Happy Easter, we could say Happy 4th of July, Happy Memorial Day, whatever we want to say, and it's not a spam email. It's a message that they will see individually to them when they log into online banking. So
From a person, it's that personal
Yes.
service, and you're able to
From
do
their
that
banker.
from their banker. And
Yes.
now you can actually do it efficiently,
Yes.
right? The time that it would take to do a phone call to 150
Yes.
customers
Right.
and actually connect with them versus sending a message, knowing that they're gonna get it, knowing that they will know it's from their
Yes.
banker. And that's just a minute,
yes,
right?
right.
Efficiency, scale,
Yes.
right? So you can start having, each of your bankers can actually have kind of their own book of business,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Give them they have a responsibility and feel an ownership, and they really know it. I mean, I said it earlier in the kind of the tech talk, is that, traditionally we would come into the branch and we had our person, that was my person, and even though, Robin had 5 people in front of her, she knew about me, and so I didn't want to go to Kurt and Kurt, sorry you didn't have anybody waiting on you, but I was like, Robin knew everything about me, knew I had twins, knew I had this, and I'm gonna be
Exactly.
looking to pay for school, and and that conversation would pick up. Because you knew me and because we had a bit of a history, it wasn't restarting every time.
Mhm. Right.
And so, talk a little bit about the benefit of kind of this persistency of being able to do that in digital channels.
So those messages that are saved out there, I think I mentioned it just a little bit ago, just being able to go back to see what I was talking to this customer about previously. Or even if I'm not their primary banker, but I want to go look to see what the conversation was with this customer, I can go back and I can see what were they asking about, what was the progression of the conversation, because it doesn't go away. Even when I close the conversation, the history stays. And that to me is, again, it's super beneficial, because we don't have the ability to do that in any other platform that we have at the bank. Not in our core, not in our phone system. I mean, unless we're gonna go physically add notes into our CRM, then this is the actual history, the actual conversation between the customer and the banker. And they can always go back and look to see, oh, hey, a month ago, we were talking about, you had a need for a car loan. Is that something that you still need? Because we can put follow-up dates, and we can do all of these things over here so that my bankers can be different than they are today. Again, looking at those conversations and being able to follow up and being able to use, instead of it always being an Outlook calendar appointment, it can be over here in Agent IQ, because I'm gonna be in there twice a day for 30 minutes anyway, so I'll be able to look at those reminders.
Right. And so it makes the bankers more efficient. What's their feedback? How do they like actually using this channel?
So, not gonna lie, when I originally rolled this out, I kind of got now we're gonna have to do this. Not only are we gonna have to talk to them in person, we're gonna have to talk to them on the phone, now we're gonna have to do this. So, I had to work through that. Yes, you're gonna log in.
Yes, you are.
And we are gonna do this, but I recently reached back out to them to see how it was going. Because again, we launched this in September, it's now April, May. I think I did this in March, and I got some great feedback from bankers I didn't expect to get great feedback from. And one of the things that I was told in the email was, I love this because I can talk to my customers differently than I could do before we had this. It was either on the phone, or they had to come in, or they had to do this, that, or the other. And she just loved it. And I was amazed because I wasn't expecting to get that response from her.
Right.
So,
Now, did you use secure messaging before, or are you still using that?
we still use secure messaging. Again, we're a Q2 bank, so we still get the Q2 messages, but we're starting to see the decline in the Q2 messages because now they're able to go here and do this. We're still not seeing yet the decline in the call volume, but we're addressing some things internally that we think are probably the reason why we're not seeing a decline in the call volumes to the call center. So we're working on some things that are unrelated to Q2. So I mean to Agent IQ.
Yeah, but we have some stats to share in a little
Yeah.
bit too on that. When I'm sure most of you guys have used some sort of secure messaging, and that's kind of a digital channel that's very common and a little bit antiquated as well, and the fact that it's sent and then it can you have to reply. It's the traditional email. We have another client as well, Q2 Bank also, but they did, on average, it would take 5.5 secure messages to resolve a customer's problem. Now that's 5.5. Unlikely that it's in the same day. Unlikely that it might even be in the same week. Think about all the back and forth,
Right.
and so that ends up being such a challenge. And now they're going, this is incredible. Their employees are going, this is awesome. I can actually resolve a customer's problem like right now,
Yep.
like here. And the personal satisfaction is now adding to their employment satisfaction because of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can bring in subject matter experts. I can bring in a lender. If my customer's asking me about a loan and I don't know how to answer the question, I can bring in a lender if they're available. I can bring them into the conversation. They can see everything that's been discussed. I can send marketing collateral. Hey, Mr. Customer, here's a brochure. Or hey, Mr. Customer, here's all the information about our mortgage loans. And I can just send it to them in a collateral piece that they can pull up on their computer. They can print it if they want to. There's so much. We're not even using all of it. Everything that we can do yet. And we're just, I love it.
Yeah. So we talked about that a little bit earlier, is that technology is all around, right? Just look at the number of suppliers like us that are here at the exhibit hall, and there's always going to be new technology to take. That ends up being very it can be analysis paralysis of wanting to get there, but you got started and now you're trying things and you're expanding as needed.
Yeah, and let me tell you, this was a very long process for us to make the decision to enter into a contract with Agent IQ. I will tell you, it was probably 3 years of just kind of back and forth.
Not our fault.
No,
Okay.
not their fault. That's just us. That's us. We're not sure. I don't know. We have a product committee. I had brought them in a couple of times. The first time they saw the demo, they, I don't know that we see the value. And then I brought them in again, probably 2 years later, and all of a sudden it was, now I see. Okay, now we're good. So it's a process, and if you're like us, it's not something that we're just going to jump into. We had to make sure we were making the right decision. So not their fault. It was us, but I'm so glad that we have it now because it's been wonderful for us.
And we're so happy to be here too, and we're clearly having a good time because I got the high sign that we're only 5 minutes left.
Oh gosh.
So
Okay.
I want to chat a little bit about the carousel.
Yeah.
How does that work?
All right, so Kylie is one of our banking center managers, and they go in and they can choose. We set up a bunch of backgrounds for them to choose, so you can see, so you can see her, she chose her background. It says, life is short, take it easy. So that's her, that's just her little tagline. She can put what she's an expert at, consumer, commercial banking, let's make things easy. A little bit about her, love what I do, and my kiddos keep me going. This is a way for my customers, our customers, to go in and kind of go through and find somebody that they might have something in common with. Whether it's the Astros, or it's the Texans, or it's the beach, or it's dogs or cats or kids. I can connect with Kylie now because I also have kids, and maybe I like the sunset, you know, whatever that is. So if I choose Kylie, then maybe I already have something in common with her. So that Banker Carousel is unique to Agent IQ because we didn't have anything like that before.
And then obviously if you already have relationships set up, say a small business or wealth or anything like that, those can be assigned as well in compliance.
Yeah,
But it gives the personality behind it.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what's been interesting since.
So we had I guess a strategic meeting last week, and we got to see a lot of our numbers. So what you're seeing is 20% of our users, and let me tell you, we did an initial marketing rollout when we rolled out Chuck, our anonymous chatbot. Since then, we've done no marketing. So this is really no marketing. 20% of our users are using Agent IQ and talking to us, and we really haven't even told them that they can. In an authenticated way. We haven't talked about the fact that we can talk to them in any language, or that we can video chat with them. I've had multiple bankers before we had this who would ask me, Robin, can we video chat with our older customers? Like, is there a way for us to do that? Because a lot of them can't come in. Now we can.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. And then speaking of Chuck, he's actually pretty effective as well, huh?
Yeah. So 50%. So we're not even having to get involved. They're able to get their questions answered because we have that all those self-service options. And it's not one of these, I don't even know how to describe it. You go to a site and you're asking questions. Was that helpful? No, it wasn't helpful. You didn't even answer my question. It doesn't keep going. You can go back to the menu. You can do different things. It's so much less frustrating than other chatbots that I've experienced at other sites. So yeah, and then here's what our customers are talking about, which so we've got home loans and commercial banking and just fraud. Anyway, so fraud's just been rampant for all of us, and we're just trying to get it under control. But this is a nice way for us to see what our customers are talking about.
Yeah, and we find that people are more willing to use self-service when they know they can talk to a human, right? You don't hide that. Don't make them go in a circle and press 0, 5 times and then hit hash right after that to make sure that they can get to a human. Give them the chance.
Yeah.
They're actually willing to explore that. So your future, I know we're wrapping. The future is we're looking to get kind of the self-service on that authenticated Q2 side,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And making it a little bit more aware,
Yeah.
customers, we have this now.
Yeah, so we're working closely with marketing to get some more information out there so our customers know that they can talk to us in lots of different ways.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. If you're interested, you can scan that QR code. Mentioned that Robin and us did a webinar a couple of weeks ago. You can see that webinar here. But Robin's going to be around, I think, for the rest of today.
Yeah, yes.
And tomorrow, if you'd like to talk to her or us, we have our booth downstairs as well. So really appreciate it, Robin.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Matt.